Welcome to the Kelly Sullivan Walden Show, where we explore nighttime dreams, daytime desires, and the best ways to transform the tragic into magic. Because let's face it, we all dream, we all have our blessings, and we all have our challenges, myself included. And I don't want any of us to take any of those things lying down, if you know what I mean. I just wrote a book entitled A Crisis is a Terrible Thing to Waste. It comes out spring of 2023. And in the meantime, I'm excited to explore the topic with you, whether it relates to your waking or sleeping dreams, because we're dreaming all the time, people. So let's make it the best dream possible. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome.
Oh my God, here comes Jake. I'm so excited. Jake Sasseville. He's a true rock star.
I have the rock star hat today too. Are we recording already? We're live?
We're recording. We're totally live.
I love that you're just going live like that. This is the way I like to do it, Dream.
Oh my God, that's so funny. I think I'm going to change my name to Dream. If you call me that, then so be it. Did you happen to see the Super Bowl?
No, but I've been seeing clips on TikTok and I'm enjoying every second of it. Why? What happened?
The best commercial was this one where there's Ace Frehley from Kiss. He's like, all you corporate types that call yourself rock stars, knock it off. And so there's Ozzy Osbourne and Joan Jett and all of these like, can you do this? No, so it was hilarious. But I'm like, I call people that I love a rock star. I'm going to keep it.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting to think about where that came up in the vernacular, right? Like I'm just thinking of all the people that I've either referenced as geniuses or rock stars. And really, I mean, unless they're at the level of Ozzy or Einstein, what are we doing? What are we doing?
You have to look up the rock star Super Bowl commercial. I love it. I will. One of the best. Oh my gosh.
Look at you.
So, hello,
Look at
Jake.
you all into pop culture. I love that you skirt this intersection between like pop culture and like intuition and wellness and spirituality. I just love you. We're live. I love that we're live.
We're so live. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to talk about Imiloa, but because this is the day before Valentine's Day, yeah. I happen to know a lot of people who are not excited about Valentine's Day because they're supposed to be, because there's so much pressure on Valentine's Day to be like, you got to have the perfect relationship. You have to have the perfect plan. There's a lot of pressure, and a lot of people are not living up to their apex dream of what it can be. So I thought in addition to talking about this wonderful thing that we're doing at Imiloa, which is awesome, I thought we would banter a little bit about self-love tips and techniques and things like that. So I think I'm
you know how much I love this. You're so intuitive. So can I tell you what we did? I figured this is a long form conversation, right? So we can chat.
Yeah, we can go for like 5 years. Just kidding.
So let me just tell you this. Yesterday, so they send me the marketing team sends me emails that they're going to send out in the following week, and I reviewed their Valentine's Day email, and I said, this is too gushy. This is too much. Like, this is not what most of the people I imagine are experiencing on Valentine's Day. And in fact, I started to look at the data, and I recognized that much of what people are challenged by on Valentine's Day is the same that people often say that they want to look at on retreats at Imiloa. Loneliness is a big thing that comes up on Valentine's Day. Not living up to romantic expectations. So many people come here to just get comfortable with the idea of uncoupling, dealing with their loneliness, dealing with regret. How much regret comes up for folks who are really wedded to the idea of love and romantic love on Valentine's Day. So we literally just wrote an email about this that's going to go out tomorrow. So I love this so much.
I am so glad. That makes me so happy. Yeah.
You're so intuitive.
Oh my God. being with you that you're just an amplifier of all those good things.
I mean,
So
we did not talk before this. That's what I find so fascinating, that you wanted to talk
intuitively
about
on the
self-love.
I know, I'm like,
That's
that's it.
pretty
I'm
cool.
changing the agenda. We're doing this. So is there should I talk about one of my self-love tips, or do you want to go first? Do you have one that's like
No, I'd love
at the
to
ready?
know what your vibe is on self-love. I think that it's often missed. And I think self-love, the practices of self-love are often missed and or made fun of or made lighter than they ought to be. So I'm so curious what you got for
Yes.
self-love, Dream.
Well, there's two things that I think are really important. So I think we first of all should make Valentine's Day the day of self-love, because anybody in
Mm,
whatever stage of relationship or not relationship they're in, you've got a self. So, and this is the day to love yourself. Okay, so there was a moment, this is kind of a silly thing, but I was on the porch coming into the house, and sometimes I will have like a teapot, a teacup, my laptop, a blanket, my earbud. I'll have like 25 things that I'm carrying. And my husband's always like, "Don't carry so much stuff. You're going to drop something." And on this particular day, I dropped my favorite teacup that my best friend Joey
oh,
made me, and it shattered it. And I was like, "Ah!" I just had a meltdown like a 5-year-old. And my husband's like,
yeah.
"Okay, that's overreacting." Like that, and I literally I called my friend Suzanne and I said, "Suze, you got to talk me off the ledge. I this shouldn't be a 911, but it's my favorite teacup, and I'm so upset." And she said, before, and I said, and I gave Dana the snarkiest look. She said, "Before you can have compassion for somebody else," because Dana was now a part
Uh-huh.
of this little mini trauma, "you have to have self empathy. So stop right now, put your hand over your heart, and just say to yourself, 'Oh, honey, that was your
Mm,
favorite
mm,
cup and it's broken and you're not going to ever be
mm,
able to put it back together again. And that is so sad. You use that
mm,
cup every day. It was part of your self-care ritual. And oh, honey, I get it. You're sad and
mm,
even mad at Dana for not getting what a big deal it is. So first, self-empathy. Once I
mm.
gave that to myself, I could walk out and say, "Dana, sorry I snapped at you. And yeah, you were right. I was carrying too much." But to go to first self empathy before we have compassion for anybody else who's acting out. Okay, what about you? What you got?
It's interesting. I'm just reflecting on what you're saying because I think that so many of us grew up in the 70s, 80s, 90s, whatever it is. And our parents were not exactly fully available to us in the ways maybe that we needed it most when we were younger. I mean, my mother
If you
on the
don't stop
way to
crying, I'll give
school,
you something to cry about.
I'm just saying, I remember going to school as a second grader in a Pontiac Le Mans in 1992. My mother listening to Four Non-Blondes screaming at people in front of her, saying, "Get out of the way, you stupid broad." I mean, I came from that part of Maine, okay? Like, our parents were not exactly able. So it's interesting how, as adults, and I'm just reflecting as you were reflecting on a silly but relevant story, silly in that it's a teacup, but it's so relevant because how much are we inclined to find compassion for others first? And in many ways, it's us taking care of another first, especially if you're an adult child of an alcoholic, in my case. Like you're scanning the environment for threats and you're making sure everyone else is good first. And I just think that story is so relevant because it's like, God, when you stop to put your hand over my heart, over your heart, I put my hand over mine. And I just thought, yeah, I could stop more often and give myself more compassion. I don't need to trudge through. I don't need to get to the next thing. I don't need to move to the next email or the next text. So that was a
Oh,
nice little moment of
amen.
Zen there. Yeah, that
There
was
was a moment of
nice.
Zen. Yeah,
Yeah,
and just to kind of dovetail on that, and I
please.
love picturing the Pontiac. We had a Dodge.
Similar,
Well,
right? Yeah.
picturing, I'm like, oh, I
Yeah.
love you so much. But it seems like if I could be more, and because when I do dream work, I always bring it into the I. There is no you, there is no they, there is no one out here. It's all aspects of self. But if I can be more empathetic and kind and compassionate to myself, then I might not put as much pressure on my
Uh-huh.
husband to
Hmm.
have to mind read and figure out exactly what the little girl in me needs at that moment. And her needs are changing constantly. So it takes the pressure off the other
Mm,
person, which
mm.
sets them up to be maybe somebody whoever is in our life, to be a better, kinder giver to us if we're not bleeding, and we can help ourselves stop the bleeding. I just got a
Yeah.
little morbid there, but
Yeah. 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 That we can help. Yeah. Mm.
yeah.
Yeah, the whole self-love thing, when people come to Imiloa in Costa Rica, I
Yes.
think they're
Yeah.
often so surprised with how little they need to feel so nurtured, and with the cuppeth overfloweth, the cuppeth overfloweth. It's like I kind of joke with teachers, it almost that when teachers come to teach here, their
Yeah.
content and curriculum is really important, obviously.
Yeah.
But what people are really getting before, during, and after that content and curriculum is delivered is this reconnection with nature, which really is a reconnection with self. And it
With
kind
our
of
nature.
allows, yeah, with our true nature. And I just think so much of self-love and self-care is being able to pause after you break the teacup, or on a larger kind of 5-day, 7-day experience on a retreat, let's say, being able to recognize oneself in
Hmm.
nature, the biomimetics of nature, it is inherently regenerative. Like nature is inherently regenerating itself. How can we be more like that and recognize the natural life cycles? So it's like yeah, I just think of like what we didn't get as kids, like
Yeah.
parents necessarily who, not everybody, some people had loving childhoods. I don't talk to them and I don't know them, but I'm sure plenty of people have had
They're
loving
myths.
childhood.
It's
Yeah,
like
there is,
Bigfoot
there is.
and the unicorns,
No,
right?
I'm sure that there are some, but for those that didn't, or for those where something, so much of it is, you know, trauma maybe being not necessarily what happened to you, but the inability of those around us when that happened, for them to be able to host you in the wholeness of who you were in that moment. And that as an adult, we now get to host ourselves. We get to put our hand over the heart after the teacup. We get to come on a retreat and explore maybe a new topic, but also get this immersion into nature, um, in a way that is self-loving. So yeah,
Yes.
it's taken on a whole new self-love to me. Like people talk about their self-love practice, and I do this and I do that. To me, it's actually the practice of self-love for me is actually learning to live differently, learning to show up and
Mm.
react and respond to things differently. So it's kind of like learning to live life on life's terms, just continuing to be regenerative like nature. And
Ooh.
yeah, yeah, this is juicy the day before Valentine's Day. I hope
Oh,
someone's getting something out.
it's so juicy. And whether you're listening and watching and you can come with me to Imiloa in June 6th through 11th,
11th.
or yeah, or not. I want everybody to be able to get something. So I think what I'm hearing from you is nature. We've all got some nature, even if it's just a little patch of grass somewhere. Even if you're in Brooklyn, there's a tree that grew in Brooklyn. There's always some
Totally.
piece of nature that you can attune to, that will put us
Yeah,
back in touch with our own nature. But
totally.
when we're in Imiloa, oh my God. So this just takes everything up to the next level of the dream, because we're surrounded by by little sloths and little monkeys and the toucans and like, oh my God. But there's also something else that you said, that this is another self-love principle. And I like to call this be the cake. This is where you, on your own, within the realm of what you're capable of doing, you take care of yourself so well that everybody else in your life, your significant other or your parents or your kids or your clients or your whoever else is in your life that you expect from, let them be the icing. but you be your own
Oh,
cake.
wow.
So everything else, so if the icing doesn't show up quite perfectly, that's okay. You still have an intact cake. You're not going to have to like, oh no, the party's ruined. It's not ruined. And one way of being the cake,
Huh.
and this is something everybody can do, whether you come with me and Jake to Imiloa or not, having a little bit of solo time, even if it's just a little road trip or a little afternoon nap or a little bit of time that is just yours. And this is where we amp it up to kind of epic proportions at Imiloa to have 5 days that
Hmm.
you're on your own. I mean, yes, we have an agenda. We'll have yoga, we'll have sound healing, we'll have dream circles, we'll have the mud bath in the waterfall, and there will be workshops, and there will be food, and there will be magic.
You
But
love the food. I think you love the food, Kelly Sullivan Walton.
I'm kind of crazy about the food, and it's so healthy that I mean, oh, when I first got to Imalo, I'm totally switching gears, but I first
Yeah,
got to
it's okay.
Imiloa, had the beautiful welcome with
Yeah.
everybody, and then there was all this lovely food around, and I made myself a plate, and I was like, oh my God, there was vegetables, there was fruit, the craziest, most gorgeous, colorful fruit, and all just wonderful things. And then Jake, you're like, okay, and now for dinner. I'm like, wait,
Wait a minute.
that was dinner. And because everything is so healthy, you don't need to
Yeah.
eat that much. So I was like
Yeah.
full on the appetizers, but then of
Yeah.
course I made room for the rest of the food.
We
But it's
all
all
do.
okay. So
Yeah,
so
no, the food is it's part of the cleansing for sure. Yeah, yeah. No, I remember my favorite part
salivating.
for those watching that know Kelly, the delight of my life was watching her for 3 days in like unbelievable ecstasy where you would have thought she would have dropped some sort of something, LSD, MDMA. She was in such ecstasy for 3 days, like, and so grateful. That's one of my favorite things about you, Kelly, is that you were so grateful. And
Mm.
I love the tribe. I imagine I'm going to love the tribe that you attract.
Oh my God.
What were we talking about? The cake. So you know what's
The
interesting?
food, the cake.
The cake. So what's
Oh,
interesting, and
delicious.
I think it's why a multi-day situation is so important for folks, because like, it was Sunday yesterday, I think. Yeah, Monday. I felt guilty and slightly shameful for taking a nap in the middle of the day. Not that I had any work, I wasn't doing any work, but it was so hard. And I kind of sat with my thoughts, right? Because I've meditated for so many years that I can actually sit with most of the time, sit with what is, and just notice the racing, gave myself a lot of grace that I couldn't even slow it down. And yeah, I think that for a lot of us out there connected to technology, often working from home, the grace to grow is absent in a lot
Right.
of our daily life. And we have to give ourselves that grace. And even me, as a guy that's like CEO of this Imiloa Institute and like all these places where people are having powerful transformations, it was anyways yesterday, really challenging just to give myself the grace to snooze for
Oh.
an hour or two. And I just imagine that when we can have multiple days on
Mm-hmm.
June 6th to 11th, if people choose to join, not to be hard about it, but yeah, June 6th to 11th with you or any,
Right.
nurturing that cake and
Yeah.
recognizing that everyone else is the icing. This is great. And this is what I love about your work, is that it's so multidimensional. Dreams are just kind of would you say that dreams and dreaming and analysis is just the entry point to actually a practice that focuses people on living a whole life? Would you say that's,
Oh, well, I would say absolutely. Yeah. So let me just drop dreams right in the center of this self-love
yeah,
equation,
yeah, I
because to
do.
pay attention, because really to pay attention to dreams, it's paying attention to our soul. Our
Hmm.
dreams speak the language of soul. And we could say it's like the soul that's tucked way inside of us that doesn't get a lot of airtime
Hmm.
typically in our ordinary fast-paced life. It's whispering and it's giving us a message. And when we listen to it, it's like we start to strengthen the feedback system. It's as if imagine a person that loves you and really wants to give you every answer to every question you have, the lottery ticket numbers. It wants to give you the answers to every prayer, everything, but it speaks in a whisper. And if you don't pay attention, it's still going to try. It'll keep on whispering. But the moment you're like, I'm listening, what do you got for me? It's going to say, who, me? Me? You're listening to me? Oh, well, I got lots to say. And then it will just amplify. So that still small voice, over the process of paying attention to dreams, we start to hear ourselves and the wisdom that we've been not that I think there's anything wrong with reading other people's books or taking classes with gurus. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's all secondary. I would even say fool's
Mm.
gold compared to the richness, the wisdom, the guidance that we naturally have. And our dreams are relaying this to us. So during this 5-day retreat, we're going to be paying attention to dreams, and that's the foundation. I would say it's sort of the alpha and the omega. It's the entry point, and it's what we accelerate to be able to turn up the volume. I'll be teaching techniques to be able to understand it, because it's one thing to be able to recognize that you're having dreams and then to remember them, but it takes it to another level when you know how to decode these things. And then the next level is, then what do you do with it? How do you activate that in your life? Did I answer your question?
I, yeah, it does. And I love the cackling. I think when it comes to dreams too, like you kind of said that there's different levels. Like for me, whenever I engage with you, I tend to think about these things more. So then I tend to remember my dreams more. But I imagine there's even a training, and I mean, what better place than the jungle? But I imagine there's a training of like just being more conscious of the dream itself, right? I'm sure that you
Right.
have, because I feel like I used to be once upon a time, but
Yeah.
as my mind has gotten more cluttered and I haven't been intentional with it, it doesn't really, I don't remember dreams, certainly not having the ability to analyze what I can't remember or share what I can't remember. So do you teach that as well? Will you go through that as well in the course of the 5 days?
Oh, absolutely. That will be a part of it. We'll have dream circles every day, so people will be sharing their dreams. But then I'll also teach my best techniques for how to remember dreams, how to catch them, how to like bring them in, and then also what to do with them, how to unpack them. I've got a great formula that I've tried, and it's been tried and true over many years. I call it jet set, and it's a way to be able to
Yes.
not just pay attention to the dream and not just kind of start to unpack it, but it's also about how to let the dream help you to take flight in your lives. And
Mm.
that brings us to the other aspect of the retreat, because of the book of mine that just came out, A Crisis is a Terrible Thing to Waste, that one that's over there on the virtual wall. um, we're going to also talk about the ways to be able to transform the tragic into magic. So everybody's walking around with some
Mm.
there was a friend of mine shared with me the other day, and I thought this was brilliant. Oh, you're going to love this, Jake. For many years, I call it jet set, and it's a way to be able to
Yes.
not just pay attention to the dream and not just kind of start to unpack it, but it's also about how to let the dream help you to take flight in your lives. And
Mm.
that brings us to the other aspect of the retreat, because of the book of mine that just came out, A Crisis is a Terrible Thing to Waste, that one that's over there on the virtual wall. um, we're going to also talk about the ways to be able to transform the tragic into magic. So everybody's walking around with some
Mm.
there was a friend of mine shared with me the other day, and I thought this was brilliant. Oh, you're going to love this, Jake. So we've heard this saying that people come into our lives for a reason or a season or a lifetime. Right? So you might meet somebody just for today. They say something to you that's important. You say something to them. Oh, there's a change, but you never see them again. That would be a reason. Somebody comes in for a season. You think they're going to be your best friend, your whatever, and then the season is complete. No harm, no foul, and you both go your separate ways, and you never see them again. It might be months later, years later, a decade later. And then there's those people that are with us for a lifetime that you just, no matter what you do, you can't get rid of them and they can't get rid of you. And they've seen your worst and they've seen your best and all parts of you. You're just in it with them for life. So it's like that with our challenges as well. Some challenges are here
Mm,
for a reason, just like for today, I stubbed my toe. What's this about? I broke my cup. What's that about?
wow.
Some things are a season. So it's an issue that seems to be around for a period of time, maybe when I was younger or when I was in grade school or high school or now. And then there's those issues that stick around for a
Wow.
lifetime. And
Profound. I'm just
I,
having like a profound aha. I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but it's a profound aha because in that, for myself, I can find more grace for the things that keep
exactly.
coming up again and again and again.
Exactly. Just like a recurring dream, I've shared that I know how to work with dreams. So why is this dream still recurring? I've thrown every tool and technique under the sun at it and it doesn't go away. What's wrong with me? That this dream keeps recurring or that this situation in my waking dream keeps recurring. So this perspective is super healing. I think this is another
Yeah.
self-love principle to recognize we
Wow.
all have that challenge that is with us for life.
Wow.
So, good news and bad news, but ultimately good news because everybody has it. Everybody has
Yeah.
theirs. I have mine. Oh my God. And even those of us that work and work and work and work and dedicate our whole lives and write books about it. Oh my Lord. It's like there's that, Carolyn May says it's the sacred wound that just doesn't
Mm,
seem to heal. And it's the wound that is the one that is the very sacred one that keeps propelling us deeper on our spiritual path and on our path of consciousness. So we want to have some reverence and some honoring of that sacred wound and also take this opportunity at this retreat to shine 1,000 times more light on it than we might ever have time to do otherwise. So even if it's still going to be around to some degree, we're going to have a different relationship with it. We're going to hold it and embrace it and give it a place of honor so that it doesn't take over our lives and it doesn't run us. We get to have it, it doesn't get to have us.
wow. I thought church was on Sunday, but it is Monday taking you to church dream. That is so
Jake!
profound. Like I had a shower of acceptance run through my body for the things that I have just kept holding on to and trying to make myself figure it out for so many years and so many things that come to mind. And instead, I get to look at it as a sacred wound that I get to have, but that it doesn't get to have me. I love this. That is so profound. What will you be doing? What kind of work will you be doing work at the retreat around sacred wound and these things that follow
Oh
us?
yeah, yeah. So that will be sort of the centerpiece, and dream work
Wow.
will wrap around that, and as well as all the other work. So it's not. I was talking to somebody the other day. They said that sounds kind of like a downer, and I'm like, it won't be. It'll be like addressing the issue and bringing so much love, bringing so much light, but then also illuminating the all of the different ways that we can hold it and grow. So I think it's for me it's only painful if I resist it, or if I
Yes.
try to push it away or pretend it's not
Yes.
there. Then it's like, not to be gross, but it's kind of like trying to put makeup on top of a big pimple that wants to be popped. Sorry, that's
Yeah.
gross. But it's kind of like, let the yucky stuff out, clean it up, let it heal. And then like,
Profound.
yeah, so profound and a little gross, but it's, I think there's going to be a ton of joy, and we're going to do deep work. We can have equal measures of depth and getting right down into those shadowy places, as well as light and joy and blessings. And in fact, the deeper, it's like you can only have as much bliss as you're able to be with those difficult emotions. So we're going to expand our capacity for bliss by making a little bit of room for those things that challenge us.
Oh, and I'm just imagining, tell me if I'm totally off with this, but if I grab a hold of, or at least start to nurture that sacred wound, and then I start to use what I'm learning through dream work, my dreams
Yes.
actually can speak to how those things can come up to be healed, cleared and healed, right?
Oh
Like it
my
all
God.
connects.
150
Wow.
billion%. Exactly. I
Yeah,
mean,
they're
our
not two
dreams,
separate things. It's coming together.
no. Oh, no, no. And our dreams actually,
Wow.
it's like I think there's the
So
really
cool.
awkward and frustrating and slow and tedious way to heal. And then there's the rapid and joyous way that's more like a dance rather than kind of like, I don't know, like a bull in a china shop, kind of messy. So there's going to be a lot of dancing. There will be a lot of grace. There will be metaphoric as well as actual movement. So we're going to do, it's going to be gorgeous. You're going to learn to
Wow.
love this little wound, and and I remember hearing Michael Beckwith say once, Reverend Michael Beckwith, that it was like his deep, deep wound that had been with him. And it was a depression, a heavy
Mm.
heartedness that most people didn't know about. And he said one day, because he had been applying all the meditation and all the different things that he'd been practicing. And one day he noticed it wasn't there anymore. And then he missed it. It's like, where'd you go? I just started loving you. It's like, that's kind of the quick way to move through, is to like turn the tables. Instead of resisting and running, the more we love it, then it might be like,
Mm.
oh man, okay, now my work is done. Like Byron Katie, oh my God, here's her quote that I love. I'm going to tattoo it to my eyeballs one day. It says, when they attack you and you notice that you're loving them with your whole heart,
Mm.
your work is done. So we're gonna make some serious movement, and we're gonna have a lot of fun. And in the spirit of Valentine's and self-love, I was talking with Jen Christie from Imiloa, and kind of helping me to put this together. And we were talking about how to make an extra special self-love package for people if they do feel inspired to come. And I want to share a little bit about that, but you tell me. I'm going to pass the buck to you because I want you to tell people about Imiloa. I don't know, should I talk about the self-love luxury dream kit first?
So
Or
let's do, that's interesting. I can share a little bit about Imiloa,
yes, do
and
that,
then
please.
you
Some
go
people
into
are like,
that, and
what's an
then,
Imiloa?
well, so it's a great place to start. Imiloa, I mean, and I think this is universal. I believe that our greatest pain, if we listen, can actually turn into life's purpose. And that is what Imiloa is for me. I serve as Imiloa's CEO and co-founder. We started 5 years ago. It's funny because people box us into being a retreat center. We're really an institute because this intersection between education, wellness, and hospitality. If you imagine like a Venn diagram, the Institute of Imiloa is like right in the middle of extraordinary education experiences by people like Dr. Dream Kelly, um, unbelievable hospitality with a team that feels so familiar, like family, which really causes your nervous system to settle down, even though you're in the middle of the Costa Rican jungle overlooking the ocean, because you feel like you're at home. And then we have wellness, which is part of the whole experience, from the massages to the food. So yeah, Imiloa as an institute is really that. It was named by a Hawaiian elder when I had this vision years ago when I lived on Maui. And it means creativity driven by a sense of wonder and imagination. Creativity driven by a sense of wonder and imagination. So it was named by that Hawaiian elder, and we kept it, even though we didn't end up doing Imiloa there. And now we're, on 32 acres on top of a mountain overlooking the ocean, with rivers and waterfalls and sacred pools and crystals buried beneath every accommodation. I don't know if you know this, Dream, but crystals are buried at the four corners of every accommodation and then right in the center. We did that before we built the construction.
I didn't know that, but I'm not surprised
Isn't
because it felt so good when I was there. I felt like I was in heaven, being held
Yeah.
by angelic beings, and those crystal beings are, I'd say, angelic.
There's
So I
something. I
didn't,
mean, there's
so
something with those
intentional.
crystals. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's a space of really intentionality. And it's where, top transformational leaders come and teach. We take care of people, we take care of the teachers. And it creates, like this experience of home. And so it's this combination of like what we kind of curate, which is unspeakable moments in nature, gourmet food, and like I said, that team that you think, could I really get close with the team in hospitality? This team was really hired and continues to be hired for their heart and their humility. And together we've transformed what kind of hospitality looks like, but it's really heart and humility that we hired for. So they become not only part of your cultural experience in Costa Rica, but I've never seen more surveys online. People just write us surveys on TripAdvisor or whatever the other one is, Google, just naming members of the team that they're so grateful for. How many other hotels do you go to, or retreat centers? Again, I say that loosely, and you're writing reviews about the team members that made you fall in love with parts of yourself, the unseen parts of you, or the parts of you that you thought were unlovable. And because of their unconditional approach to life, it's crazy. It's crazy.
I just have to say one thing that was so interesting. I mean, everybody is exactly as you said. And I fell in love with each and every team member.
Mm.
And there was one night where I can't remember, there was something happening somewhere else, maybe up at in the Bali area. There's a whole Bali village that is gorgeous, that overlooks the ocean. But I was not part of the group for a moment. I was coming to my room. I was staying in the jungalow, so I had to I walked through the main area, and the lights were out, and so they weren't expecting people, but I was able
Yeah.
to witness what was happening in the kitchen without them knowing. So I was kind of hiding in the shadows, kind of watching, because I'm going to be bringing my people here, so I'm doing a
Yeah.
little
You're not the
neat.
first person to come there and do that. No. Yeah.
Everyone in the kitchen, they were singing together, they were
Wow.
hugging. It was like they were having a party while they're chopping the vegetables and someone's cleaning the dishes. Like it was full on food prep mode with music and love. And it made me think of that movie, like Water for Chocolate. It's like
Yeah.
the love that you feel, that passion, it goes into the food and it goes into the people that eat the food. And I thought, okay, no wonder this food is delicious on its own merit, but it's also the vibe that they're
Yeah.
putting into it is
Totally.
very
Totally.
special. Yeah.
Extraordinary. So that's what to expect. And then you layer on top of that Kelly and her years of teaching and calling her work from within. And then you have this extraordinary retreat on June 6th to 11th. So it's this nice combination of the two things. I think that gives a good overview, don't you?
I think it does. I mean, we could talk for hours about all the little nuances, but it's something to be experienced. And But one thing people I think will definitely experience is that they're, as much as they love their home, they're going to say, I don't want to go home. So there
Yeah,
will be some of that, but it's so, you can always come back.
you
Okay,
can
so
always come back. Yeah. So tell us.
so we so what I created was this luxury dream package. And what I want to do is offer it to people in the spirit of Valentine's, in the spirit of self-love. If people want to come, there's spaces available. Not many, but there's still some spaces available, and they're on the website. And I'll put the link, I'll follow up by putting the link. If you want to look at the page, by the way, right now, you can go to my webpage, which is kellysullivanwalden.com. And then if you scroll down halfway through the page, you'll see me going like this. Ah! And you'll see
Is that
that.
at the waterfall? Is that you at the waterfall? Yeah.
um,
No.
no, it's actually not, but it feels like it is. I know. I
Ah,
should
okay.
have. I should have. Oh
That's okay.
gosh.
You'll get it
Okay.
in June.
I'll
It's
have all the,
fine. Yeah.
I'll get that in June. So
Yeah.
click on that and it'll take you right to the page. So in the meantime, what we're offering is this self-love luxury dream package, and it's an $888 value. And I'll tell you what it includes. Okay, so it includes a little dream kit, which is a luxury dream kit. It has an eye mask, a dreams come true eye mask that I've created, and it's my joy to give to you. And then this essential oil blend. Now, you got to know I'm an essential
Sure.
oil junkie, and I have gone through so many different blends, and this is what I use every night before I go to sleep. And it's a lavender blend with a few other essential oils, and it's so wonderful. You're gonna love me. If for nothing else, just for this essential oil blend. And I'm going to give you a journal. It's a For the men, they're going to have a hero's journey journal. For the women, they get a goddess queen pearls of wisdom journal to write and journal your dreams and to journal throughout the journey. And you're also going to get my Sweet Dreams meditation for lucid dreams. This is a video and an MP3, however you prefer. So, this is to help you amplify the dreams
Mm.
that you have while you're there. So, you can listen to this or watch this before you go to sleep at night during the retreat. And it's also something you can practice with before, because you'll get the digital aspects of this dream kit. I'll send you once you sign up for the retreat, so you can start practicing on that right away. And you'll also receive a 1 hour dream session with me. So this is a 1 hour where
Wow.
you and
Can we do
I
that
sit
before
down.
or after? Like we can do
Before
it
and
before
or
and after.
after. Exactly.
And or
So
after. Cool.
I'd say within 3 months after the retreat, just so that it's not, 10 years later. I want people to do it like within the scope of
Cool.
doing the retreat. So it can be starting from, you just have to deal with my calendar, but there will likely be time between now when you sign up and the retreat, or after the retreat. During the retreat, you'll have a lot of access to me, but I'm not going to do the 1 hour time during the retreat, because that would be kind of hard to do. But you get a
No,
one
of
hour
course
session
not.
with me, and that's
That's
a
great.
$500 value. And then you'll also get the
Super
wellness bar.
offer.
Oh, the
I
wellness
love
bar.
that.
Tell them about the wellness bar.
Yeah, so
So
this is great. So this is an offering that we have at Imiloa, and it started out just because people were asking for elixirs and tinctures and all these things, and then Daniel was like, you know what? Let's build a bar and let's create. Chef Daniel was like, let's build a bar and let's just go nuts. And so we have like this, I want to say 40 to 50 item menu of everything from like juices and smoothies, but like really complicated kind of different things that he's put together from his years in the wellness and gotten other recipes from other people, elixirs, tinctures. We have specialty coffees and obviously coffee drinks. And, you can get on a whole protocol while you're at Imiloa in the with the wellness bar, whether it's like for cleansing or turmeric, the detoxifying. You have the medical medium protocol that you can do if you do that. We really accommodate different people's desires for being well, and whatever way, shape, and form that looks like. On the other side of that, even though this isn't the wellness bar necessarily, but we also can do 60 grams of protein a day as well for some of our paleo friends and some of our more, those who may want to be running around the mountain every morning before class with Kelly or whatever it is. Like, we really just try to accommodate and not limit what's possible for you and your body while you're here.
And so the wellness bar, how you get that is whatever you want, whenever you want, within the, like, from the, I don't know what the hours are.
Oh, that's right. So it's unlimited. So it's unlimited from 8 to 8. So we have people that go nuts. So obviously we have the food and snacks, but then people are doing smoothies, people are doing the elixirs, people are doing shots of ginger turmeric each morning. So and you do as much or as little as you want. I mean, we've had the average number, of course, we keep the data on this. The average person is taking 4 different types of drinks every day from the wellness bar. So they just have it totally a part of their experience. We just did it unlimited because that made sense. So that's great that you include that in the $888 value, because you get the session with you, everything else that you're giving, plus that wellness bar is a couple $100 too. So that's great.
Exactly. And that could be, I mean, I think it could be valued even higher, but it's like, yeah, so that's a big thing. So every little moment you want an extra little boost of a ginger shot, a little turmeric shot, or whatever, you can kind of go. What were you going to say?
When do they need to sign up by to be able to take advantage of this?
By the end of February, by the last day in February.
Great.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So
okay,
this is self-love month.
Yeah.
So starting today is when it's available. And yeah. Oh, and then you'll also get a signed copy of my book for free. So that book.
I love it.
So that's the offering. That's our self-love luxury dream kit. And that's what everybody gets that signs up between now and the end of February 2023. And what else do we want to let people know about? Anything else?
I think that's good for us. I'm just so grateful to be able to spend some time. I actually have to go catch a flight to Imiloa. I'm so sorry.
Oh my God! It looks like you're already at Imiloa. Oh, right. Well, then we're gonna wrap.
No, I'm so sorry to do that, but they booked us not knowing that I'd have to go to Imiloa today, and I got notification today that the plane leaves in a few minutes. So I am going to have to transition.
You got to go. Jake Sasseville, thank you so much. I can't wait to see you in June. Thank you, everyone.
I love you, Dr. Dream.
I love you too. Thank you so much, Jake. Okay. I'll see you soon in just a few months. Safe flight.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Kelly Sullivan Walden Show. If you enjoyed this episode, take a moment to like, subscribe, comment, and share it with your friends. My show can be found on Apple iTunes, YouTube, Google Play, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcasts. If you want to pre-order my new book, A Crisis is a Terrible Thing to Waste, go to your favorite online or brick and mortar retailer. Then head on over to kellysullivanwalden.com, tragic to magic. Input your order number and redeem your bonus gifts. I'm also excited to be offering a new live DreamWork practitioner training. So if that calls to you, go to kellysullivanwalden.com/DreamWork. If you'd like to join me for the live recording of these shows, most Wednesdays at noon Pacific, you can find me on Facebook at Kelly Sullivan Walden Dreams. If you have a question about your dreams or about how to transform your tragic into magic, email me at kelly@kellysullivanwalden.com. Until next time, remember, a crisis is a terrible thing to waste. And as you awaken to the power of your dreams, you make the world a lighter, brighter, more beautiful place, one dream at a time. Sweet dreams.